Hello everyone, it's Lorika here. Today I'm going to do a bit more of a fun video. Last one was a bit heavy, so I figured I'm going to do a book haul. Um, I went a bit crazy on World of Books a while back, and so I've had parcels coming in. They're so cheap, and yeah, I don't need to justify, do I? It's just beautiful books. So I figured I'm going to do a little book haul of some of these books that I bought because they're so good. So where shall I start? I think the first one I'm going to talk about is a book by a Swedish author called Åsa Larsson, and the book is called The Blood Spilt. The Blood Spilt. So I love Åsa Larsson. My goodness, I think I've read almost all her books, and I have almost all her books on Kindle, but I don't have it in print. So I found this one in English, in print at World of Books, and I thought I'm gonna get this one because I really enjoyed this. I enjoy all of them. Like that one, what is it called? Is it on here? Yeah, the Savage Altar is really good too, but I like this one because it's a bit different. In the book, okay, so it's a book about a lawyer called Rebecca Martenson, and she grew up in the north of Sweden, and then she went to Stockholm and she worked there, and then eventually she went back to the north of Sweden. And this book is taking place in midsummer in northern Sweden, and she kind of solves crimes with the police. And but what I like about this book is that there's this wolf in there that we call the she-wolf. That's called the she-wolf in there. And we see parts of the novel from the perspective of the wolf. And to me, that is just so cool. This is just a nice twist on just a normal kind of crime story, right? So yeah, that part I really like. But yeah, she just kind of solves crime, Rebecca Martenson. And yeah, and then there's also a lot of religion in it, from the Christianity in it, because up north there they have a special kind of church, and so it plays a big part in these novels of Åsa Larsson. The next book is a book I read as well. A lot of these books I have read, but not all of them. I just like to have them in a physical form. This book I read so long ago. I think I read it early 2000s. It's called The Mandarins by Simone de Beauvoir. Isn't that a lovely cover? Very, very, almost like, it's like a painting, right? It's a painting. It's probably some famous painting that I know nothing about. But she really, it's a big book, right? And I don't remember much of it. I just remember the title, and I remember it did something to me when I read this book. So I thought, well, I'm gonna get it again, because for the last few years it's been on my mind, this book. And so I thought, well, okay, I saw it on World of Books, I got it. And then I got a couple of non-fiction. I'll leave those for the end. Yes, and then I got another one of my favorite authors, Daphne du Maurier. Oh my gosh, she writes. She write. That's just all I can say. This woman can write, and her books are so. Her characters just have absolutely. I find they don't have much of a redemptive qualities in them. You know, if you think of Rebecca, I mean, yeah, her books are very interesting. It just goes into human psyche in a very interesting way. So I got four of her. The first one is I don't know any of these, and it feels a bit, but we'll see. It's called The Blue Lenses and Other Stories. So it's basically a book of short stories. There's quite a few in here. Oh, look, it was somebody's sign. It was their book. She bought it in 1993. Yeah, so there's 2, 4, 6, 8 short stories in here. So I'll see how that goes. And then the next one is a classic, Daphne du Maurier, Jamaica Inn. I love the covers. I think I bought these books because of the covers as well. But I have Jamaica Inn, for me, is one of the most special books in my memory banks, because this is the very first English book, like grown-up English book, that I ever read. And I read it in high school as part of my high school English class. This was the book that we had to read. And before then, I did not read English books really, because I hardly spoke any English. I couldn't speak English really. I was in an Afrikaans school, and my friends were Afrikaans, so I didn't really have any English in my life. But when I read this book, something just happened. And I remember there was this, I felt so shocked, and I never read anything like it before in my life. I so loved this book. And then I left school and I, started reading other things, and I forgot what this book was called. I didn't know who the author was, but I remember all through the years that I wish I could find that book that I read in high school, with this taking place on the moors, with this young woman that went to stay with her aunt in a hotel or like an inn on the moors. And then there was these people that really did bad things on the beach with ships coming in. And I was like, what was that book called? I could not find it anywhere. And then one day I saw I think it was the movie that came out, Jamaica Inn, the movie. I watched the movie and I realized, oh my gosh, that is the story. Isn't that the story? So I went to Google it and I found this is the book. So I've reread it so many times now, because I also have it on my Kindle, and I have it as part of Daphne du Maurier's Cornish novels. I think it's a thick one with 4 Cornish novels in it. So now I have a copy of Jamaica Inn, just Jamaica Inn by itself. So I'm very happy about that. Then there's another Daphne du Maurier, which I haven't read before either, The Progress of Julius. I just love these covers. Don't you like them? They are so cool. So it is about a man called Julius Levy who sacrificed everything to a ruthless ambition. I mean, doesn't that just sound like her? So that's that. And then the final one they call a romance, Daphne du Maurier's The Loving Spirit. Look at that. Just look at that. The light is a bit shiny on here, but oh my gosh. And it says, the Daily Telegraph said, it's a whopper of a romantic novel in the vein of Emily Bronte. So interesting, right? So I thought, well, why not? I'm going to give it a go. It takes place over three or four, what do you call it? Generations, 3 generations. So yeah, interesting. So I got these, and then I'm so excited. And then I got 2 more for another favorite author. If you know me, you know Susan Fletcher is at the top there for me. Her book, The Highland Witch, is I would say it's my favorite book of all time. It's my number 1 book, The Highland Witch. And I also love the book she wrote about Van Gogh. I don't know what the title is, but it's such a beautiful book that I'll put it here so you can see it. I have that book. And then there's another one that I absolutely really like. Can't remember now. But I love her books. So I got 2 more of hers, also from World of Books. The first one is called The House of Glass by Susan Fletcher. Magical, a gem, they say from the Daily Mail. But she just writes so amazing. So this takes place in 1914. And it's about a woman that start to work with plants in the Kew Gardens. You know, in London they have this big park place, and it's called Kew Gardens, where they have all these amazing plants and flowers. I've been there a few times when I lived in London, and it's beautiful. I can totally recommend going there. So this book takes place there. And then the other one is The Night in Question. When life becomes a mystery, it's never too late to uncover the truth. And that's also with the little bird. A little bird. And so it's also midsummer, so similar to my Åsa Larsson book. And it takes place in the UK. And on this midsummer night, something happens. But somebody dies. And so this lady called Florence Butterfield is, I think she's 87. And she lives in this home, and somebody dies in there. I don't know if it's a friend of hers or something. And she has to figure out, is this murder or not? I don't see this as a murder mystery because she doesn't write murder mystery. But I think it might have elements of that. It's very good. Extraordinarily lyrical. Susan Fletcher's prose shimmers like light on water. Exactly. That is her. I love that author so much. Oh my goodness. Okay. So then I have 2 non-fiction books. The first one is by Paul Theroux, and it's called Dark Star Safari, Overland from Cairo to Cape Town. Look with that. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be quite... I mean, I would never have the guts to do a journey like this. However, somebody wrote a book about it. So I can do the journey in the book. It must have been like, wow. So, so I'm very keen to read this book about his experiences from Cape Town to Cairo. I mean, it's across the whole of the continent, right? Woo, what a journey. So, And then the last one is a cookbook. And it's also from one of my favorite authors, Tessa Quiros. I have another one, I might have shared it a little while ago, but this was the one I've been looking for. I'll show you first. Apples for Jam. Look at that cover. Isn't it? Oh, it's just so beautiful. I bought this book. This is the 3rd time I have this book, because every time I move countries, this is the cookbooks are the first things that go, because they're heavy, right? And if you move, you know, they're bulky, they take space, and it costs insane amount of money to move from one country to the next and take all your stuff with you. So this book always seems to go, but I found it. I found it for a really good price on World of Books. I'm so happy. Why I like it is what she did with this book is she broke down the foods, not in like we have normally, like appetizers or vegetables or whatever. She broke it down into colors. So you have, instead of these are the appetizers, this is the meat dishes, she has it red, orange, yellow, pink, and it goes on like that. And inside them, these, let me see if I can show you. So in the red section, this is the red section, right? and then she has all the recipes listed there. So then, and they are like everything from starters to main courses to dessert to cakes to everything. And she writes like, she puts like a little memory, and then she starts with the recipes. And each recipe has a little story. A lot of them have a little story at the bottom, where they came from and what they, I'm here. Where she got them from, right? So I read it as if it's a book, because it's so well done with the photography and everything. So yeah, I love Tessa Quiros, and she grew up in South Africa, but her mother was Finnish and her father, I think he's Greek. He was Greek, yes. And now she lives in Italy, which she married an Italian. So her food has this amazing range. And she lived in US for a while in the South. And so she has like combined all these places she lived in, recipes or types of food from all those places, and made it into this beautiful book. So I love it, love it, love it. So these are my books. If you have, you probably, some of you have read all of these, and some have read maybe some of them. Let me know if you know any of these books and what you think of them. If there's ones that are like, oh, I want to read this one, let me know what you think. I'm very happy. There's no rush for me to read this, because yeah, I have a little bit of an eye problem at the moment. So I'm not doing many book reviews per se, because I can't read much at the moment. I'm going for some eye surgery in September. I didn't want to do it before the summer's over, because I've waited all winter for summer to start, and to have eye surgery now is just a waste of my time. So I'd rather wait a little bit. So it's nothing major. It's just cataracts. I feel so old. It's just cataracts. So they're just going to fix that up. And then by the end of the year, I'll be back to reading. So this year, I just slow reading. Read a little bit at a time, because I can't see so good. So yeah, I hope you have. So if my videos, before I say, my videos are a bit sporadic and not very, that's the reason, right? That's the reason why I have a bit more of a haphazard posting at the moment. So yeah, as always, I wish you a beautiful day, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.